It's clear it's been tough. It's been a tough period. It's been different in different parts of the sector. You will see automotive and durables having a much harder time. The refineries having a very hard time. But for example, on consumer packaging markets and on healthcare, a different picture throughout the industry. You can also see that we can be proud of how the industry has operated during the crisis. Very early on, we tried to provide the solutions on disinfectants, on active pharmaceutical ingredients, on medication. And the good thing is that people have noticed. So I strongly believe the emotion around our industry has improved, seeing that we've been resilient, that with pharma we've been the sector in Europe to put the least amount of people into temporary unemployment, and with, in many cases, in difficult times, us supplying our markets, our customers, but also our stakeholders with the solutions they needed. So in summary, where is our sector? It's different in different companies. It's still tough, but I believe we're in good shape. Well, as you rightly said, we see now the biggest economic aid package in European history being developed across the different member states, a bigger industrial policy than we've ever seen. How do we benefit from that? Well, first of all, it's national. You will need to talk to your national governments to get your topics into the national recovery plans and to get access to the funding, which member states need to contract in the next coming months. It's actually more today and maybe even more yesterday than tomorrow. So get in touch with your national governments is step one. What CEFIC will do is, with the help of all the national federations like France Chimie and others, keep the overview, get our topics on the table with the member states, and also at European level coordinate with Commissioner Breton and others that the topics we need to digitalize, to meet the Green Deal, to overcome the pandemic are actually part of the recovery package. So be heard, be clear, have your projects ready and come forward now. I'm not sure. I think we need to do more. So it's clear that the globalization we had is turning regional, that we have fierce competition with the Americans, the Asians, the Chinese, the Russians, and that Europe needs an answer. Well, we have one tool, which is the European single market, which is literally one tool we need to optimize to be a player on the global market. And people look. The rest of the world looks at the standards we set, the developments we make, and the rules we put on the internal market. Are we now properly equipped? I'm not sure, I said, and I've sometimes my doubts if we do enough. You've seen that with COVID, we partly nationalized solutions again. Borders got closed, rules were different. And even today, we have orange, red and green zones which are not equal across Europe. So CEFIC's strong call, and we're making it across Europe and in Brussels, use the single market, cooperate, coordinate with the member states, have solutions for specific industries like ours, and also have a very active policy vis-à-vis other regions in the world, protecting our interests, safeguarding our markets, and not closing Europe, that's not the question, but to be maybe a bit less naive and a bit more grown up when we meet the very strong powers around the world. Yes, and I'm an optimist. And I need to compliment you before I answer this question, because the visit of President Macron early on shows, I think both in language in the press and in attention, that yes, we can reassure, and yes, there is a focus on what companies like yours and industries like ours actually do well. Will it be easy? No. I think there'll be a big debate with big pharma. There'll be a debate with other suppliers and with national governments. The one thing we need to make sure, by the way, is that these solutions are not only national, but actually European. And again, take this single market into account. Can we do it? I think we can, if we all work together. And with the help of companies like yours, in our team, Maggie and the fine chemical groups, I think it's possible to come to a active pharmaceutical alliance, to come to joint approaches and make this important part of the European value chain come back to Europe. No, I can be very clear on that one. In my country, in the Netherlands, throughout history, people raised questions about industry, but everyone wanted to work in our sector because it was the coolest sector to be part of. What you see right now is that we don't only need chemists, we need chemists who are digital, who can tell a story on camera, who can explain really complex stuff to other people. And in that market, actually, young people, if they can, they would go to Google, to Apple, to a fintech. So I think we need to do more to attract the talent, and part of that is not only telling the stories of our companies, but also showcasing not only how complex our work is, but how interesting it is, being in a sector that in 99% of the solutions you need, for example, for the Sustainable Development Goals, where 96% of all materials is found. Chemicals are at the heart of everything we do, and that's a story that needs to be told. I often got the question, why did you go work for this sector? And my answer is, because I want to be where it happens. And that's a story we can tell young people as well, who, we have a number of them in Cefic, can definitely come to our industry to work. Work to do, I think you lead on this as well, with apprenticeships and other roles, but definitely we need to do more.